Hello everyone, we're here with Grandma Tanner. We're going to be doing the German apple cake today. I did post it in our feed earlier, so you'll be able to get it. I know one lady said she was going to use some caramel, I believe, with the cream cheese or something.
Yes, that would be very good.
So here's Grandma Tanner. Take it away.
Okay. I believe this recipe came from great Grandma Tanner, Mina, and the ones that came over from Switzerland. And it's a recipe that you don't need a beater with. You stir it all with a spoon. So that's why I think it's that old. But it takes 4 cups of apples. So I have used my little handy thing, and I'm using Jonathan apples. Got my little Jonathan cutting board, and cutting each piece and peeling it. I've done quite a bit before. It takes 4 cups of apples. So what I have been doing is slicing these apples instead of slicing them with a knife. I'm slicing them with this little slicer that I have that my mother-in-law gave to me many years ago. I just love that little thing. It's good for cucumbers and all kinds. It slices them real thin, and a lot of us ladies have these. I'm not sure if you can get them in anymore. They probably have a different kind of a slicer you can buy. So I got my apples all sliced here. I think I have 4 cups. That's what it takes. Okay, now set that back there. First of all, it calls for 2 eggs. So I'm going to put these 2 eggs in here. And you just stir up those eggs real well with a spoon. And then it calls for 2 tablespoons of cinnamon, which is a lot of cinnamon, it seems like, but that's about the only flavoring in there. So I'll add this cinnamon. Cinnamon with apples is really good.
Don't dump your whole jar.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of, because my spoon wouldn't fit in there. So you get that, each ingredient, you just get it mixed up real well. Looks kind of, whoops, got that on the recipe.
And you can smell that.
It looks kind of clumpy. Then a half a teaspoon of salt. Anytime that you use flour, always remember you need salt.
Why is that?
I don't know, salt just adds to the flavor, enhances anything. So my aunt told me that one time many years ago. I made a pie and I said, well, Aunt Martha, how do you feel about that pie? She said, well, it just needs a little salt. So, and vanilla is another one that always adds a lot. So this recipe calls for a teaspoon of vanilla. Add that in there.
That's that good vanilla.
That's that good vanilla that we're selling. Mexican vanilla. Looking pretty brown. All that cinnamon in there. And then a teaspoon of baking soda. gonna make it rise. You just keep stirring, make sure you get all this stuff stirred in real good. And then 1 cup of, this is canola oil. This really makes it change color. Get that stirred in there really well. That's pretty oily. But the reason I think this is a very old recipe is it's a recipe that they didn't even have mixers. Then I have 3/4 cup of nuts here. I'm using pecans, but black walnuts would really be good for this. And then I've got 2 cups of sugar measured out. Put the 2 cups of sugar in there. Just keep stirring.
So you put it in there according to.
Write down the recipe, yeah. And then with each ingredient, you just stir it real good. Then 2 cups of sifted flour. I always buy the pre-sifted, so
Much easier that way.
it is much easier. I remember as a girl, we always had this sifter. We had to sift everything, get it all fluffed up. So it's getting thicker. This is a very thick batter. That's why you need to stir with each ingredient, because once you get back or to the end with the sugar and the flour, it's quite a bit to get it all stirred in. Looking pretty thick.
Almost looks like cookie.
Looks like
Dough.
cookie dough. I bet it tastes good. And you need a pretty stiff spoon to do this.
I can't hardly get a beater through that.
No, I think that's why. Okay, now it's time for the apples, and I've sliced these apples very thin. I think I have 4 cups here. Four cups of thinly sliced apples, and these are Jonathan. Jonathan and Cortland are really good for baking pies, strudel, and anything like that, because they're a little tartar because you always put a lot of sugar with them.
Could you use dehydrated apples?
I think you need the moisture. I think you need the moisture with this. Some people ask about cooking with Honeycrisp. The only thing cooking with Honeycrisp is they are so juicy. They are, everybody loves Honeycrisp. They're real nice and juicy, and boy, that came out just about right. Maybe I'll just slice this little one up here yet. Like that. Now this is what's a challenge right here.
You need a bigger bowl.
I've made it in this bowl before. You just kind of have to just keep stirring. Try to blend those apples in there really good. And then And the juice from the apples kind of make it a little bit more liquid. It adds liquid, the juice from the apples.
Thought you turned that off, Grandma.
I did. I thought I did turn it off.
Is that a phone call?
Yeah, I'm just gonna ignore it. They'll leave a message. So you just blend this the best that you can, because it's a lot of apples. 4 cups. It takes almost 4 apples to do this. So in a quarter peck, let's see, did I have a quarter peck or half peck? I think about a half peck is 8 apples, so
Let's say I think quarter peck's 4 to 6.
yeah. See how well this is getting mixed in there now? But you just have to keep turning it, blending it, get it all blended in really, really good. Now I have this nice cake pan here.
She has one made, but she hid it from me today.
Oh, yeah, it's back behind me. Anyway, I sprayed this pan with this. You can buy this Baker's Joy. It's got shortening and flour all in it. So I've already sprayed that. My oven is set at 350. And we'll put this right in this pan. It's pretty thick.
You just put it in there and spread it out, or?
Yep, you just put it in there and you spread it around with your spatula or a knife or something. And that's it.
Longest part is probably cutting the apples.
That is takes the longest of anything is cutting those apples out. And what I liked about this recipe is a lot of the ingredients you already have in your cupboard. You don't have to go out and buy ingredients. If you do a little bit of baking, sugar, flour, oil, cinnamon. So then you just, because it is very thick, you just spread it around in there. Lots of apples. It really is good. So then when it's done, you can put Cool Whip on it, or the recipe does give you a kind of like a cream cheese frosting. I made one earlier, and I made the frosting to go with it. But if you don't want to make that frosting, you can put a little ice cream on it, or
caramel sauce would be good on it.
yes, caramel sauce. What would really be good is a little ice cream with a little drizzle to this of our caramel sauce on top of it.
So now you bake that at?
You bake this at 350, and it takes 45 minutes to an hour.
Where'd you get that pan?
Oh, I got this nice pan from my daughter-in-law, Jill.
Huh,
The
I've never
Tanner
seen that
family.
one before.
See, from the kitchen of the Tanner family. Isn't that a nice pan?
Yeah.
I use this for special occasions only. It's really a nice pan. So there we go. German apple cake.
Let's see the one you made.
Okay.
Kids will chow on that one tonight.
Oh yeah, it'll probably be going here pretty quick. Now this is the cream cheese frosting that it's cream cheese, melted butter, vanilla, and a cup and a half of powdered sugar. Mmm,
That's good, Grandma.
nice and moist, isn't
Mm-hmm.
it? I know, with all those ingredients, you would think it wouldn't be that moist, but I'm going to put this on the break room table because I can just see these employees are coming in here right now. Want
Break
to taste
time.
this? It's break time, yeah. So we'll cut this and they can chow down if they want to go over the bakery and get a little bit of ice cream on top. That'd really be good.
So, we're doing these Grandpa Tanner. What about them apples, Grandpa Tanner? And we're talking about the history of the farm. Now, you've known Grandpa since you were a little girl, right?
Well, I first met him when we were about in 7th or 8th grade, that I remember. But his parents used to only live 3 miles from us. But they moved out here when he was 2, and I'm 2 years younger than him, so I was not born yet.
So you met him at church.
Yeah, at a church gathering. His parents invited my parents out and a whole bunch of other people from that Goodfield area.
Because you're both of your families are from Goodfield.
Yes, we're originally from Goodfield.
Okay. All right. Well, that was German apple cake. Next week, we'll ask Grandma Tanner another question. So if you have any questions you want to know from Grandma Tanner, send them in, and we'll finish up the show with a question. So thanks a lot, everybody, for watching.